We often look to the gods for protection, but what if our true protector was the one who defied them? I'm Nikos, speaking to you from Greece, and today we explore the story of Prometheus, the defiant titan who gave fire to mankind, and Pandora, the first woman whose curiosity would seal the destiny of the world forever. The Titanomachy was over. Zeus and his allies had managed to overthrow Kronos and the almighty Titans, ushering in the dawn of the Olympian reign. But the gods had not won the great war alone. Two of their greatest allies in the conflict were Prometheus, the titan of forethought, and Epimetheus, the titan of afterthought. Despite being brothers to Atlas, the commander of the Titan forces, these two had chosen a different path. And so, while many titans were condemned to suffer in Tartarus for all eternity, and Atlas was burdened with his own eternal punishment, Prometheus and Epimetheus were spared. Instead, they forged a lasting friendship with the Olympians. Honored by Zeus, the two brothers were then entrusted with the most sacred task: to help shape and populate the world with life. Epimetheus set about shaping the animals, generously bestowing upon them all manner of gifts: speed to the deer, claws to the lion, feathers to the birds. Driven by enthusiasm and love for these creatures, the Titan eagerly gave away every blessing the gods had entrusted to him. Yet in his haste, he overlooked one crucial detail. He had entirely forgotten about the creation being forged by his brother. Meanwhile, Prometheus shaped man from clay. It was a fragile, flawed creature. But in that form, the Titan saw great potential. Man would walk upright, like the gods, and would even resemble them in appearance. The goddess Athena felt marveled by Prometheus's work and breathed a divine spark into this new race. Man came to life, but he was vulnerable, naked against the cold, defenseless against the beasts, and fearful of the dark. No gift remained for the Titan to bestow upon his beloved creation, as his brother Epimetheus had already exhausted all the blessings offered by the gods. Moved by love for his creation, Prometheus ascended to Mount Olympus and lit a torch with sacred fire taken directly from the forges of Hephaestus, a gift he would then offer to humanity. With a divine flame came transformation. Soon, mankind learned to cook its food, forge weapons and tools, and gradually began to tame the whole mortal world. Prometheus had not merely given them the means to survive, he had given them the power to dream. Zeus watched closely as the new creature known as man flourished. In such a short time it had advanced so far. Surely this being should remain forever grateful to the gods. But when the king of the cosmos declared that mankind must offer sacrifices to the gods, Prometheus feared his creation would become enslaved. And so, the wise Titan devised a cunning trick to protect humanity from Zeus's decree. He slaughtered a bull and separated its remains into two piles. In one, he placed the rich, succulent meat, but concealed it beneath hide and bone. In the other, he arranged the inedible scraps beneath a layer of glistening fat. Prometheus then invited Zeus to choose which portion of the two would be the god's rightful share, the one that humanity would offer in sacrifice for all eternity. As Prometheus had planned, the great god was deceived by appearances and chose what seemed to be the finest portion, the gleaming pile of fat. Only then did he discover it was filled with nothing but worthless scraps. Enraged by the Titan's trickery, Zeus turned his wrath on mankind itself. He took back from them the sacred fire, leaving them once again cold, afraid, and powerless. Days passed, and Prometheus watched his beloved creation suffer, a sight he could no longer bear. In his heart burned the love for humanity that defied the will of Olympus itself. And so, in secret, the Titan ascended once more to the heavens, slipped into the divine forges of Hephaestus, and stole back the sacred fire. Then, descending to the earth, he returned his gift to mankind. But Prometheus was extremely wise. He knew that the king of the gods would not see love in his actions, but only mockery and betrayal. That night, he approached his brother Epimetheus and warned him of what was to come. Prometheus would suffer immensely for his defiance, but that alone would not satisfy Zeus's wrath. The Titan urged his brother never to accept a gift or bargain from the gods, for such dealings would surely bring harm not only to Epimetheus, but to the entire mortal world. The new day dawned, and Zeus's wrath would indeed prove merciless. Twice now this Titan had mocked the will of the gods. For his betrayal, Prometheus was chained to a desolate cliff in the Caucasus Mountains. There, beneath storm-tossed skies, he was condemned to unimaginable torment. Each day, an eagle, most sacred to Zeus, descended to feast upon his liver, inflicting the Titan unbearable pain. And each night, the organ would regenerate, ensuring that his agony began anew, day after day, for all eternity. And still, Prometheus did not beg. He endured. Because for him, mankind was worth it. However, Zeus's wrath had yet to be spent. To punish humanity for accepting the stolen fire, he ordered the creation of a new being, something never before seen on Earth. A woman. Hephaestus sculpted her from earth and water, molding her to divine perfection. Aphrodite bestowed upon her irresistible beauty, while the cunning Hermes gifted her the power of speech. Athena clothed her in silks, and the Herites adorned her with shimmering jewels. Finally, Zeus himself gave the woman one last gift: extreme curiosity. The magnificent being was named Pandora, the All-Gifted. But beneath her radiant form lay Zeus's cruelest intent. He gave Pandora a jar, a pythos, sealed tightly, ornate and mysterious. With a whisper, the god gave her but one command: "This jar is yours forever, but you must never, ever open it." Zeus then presented the woman to the Titan Epimetheus as a gift. Though Prometheus had warned his brother never to accept anything from the gods, Epimetheus was instantly captivated by the radiant Pandora. All caution vanished. Her presence was irresistible, and together they shared a caring and loving union. The couple spent their days on Earth, content among all the creations of Prometheus and Epimetheus. But curiosity burned within Pandora's mind. What secret lay inside her jar? Why had the gods given it to her? Why must it remain closed? The questions haunted her, growing louder with each passing day. At night, the jar seemed to whisper to her, calling her by name, until one day she could resist no longer. With trembling hands, Pandora finally opened the jar. In that moment, a terrible black mist poured forth, swarms of sorrow and suffering. Disease, envy, greed, despair, hunger and betrayal, all the evils Prometheus had spared mankind were now unleashed upon the world. They spread like wildfire, infecting every living being on Earth. The mortal realm had changed forever. In horror, Pandora slammed the lid shut. The jar had been opened for only a moment, but it was too late. All its contents had escaped, all but one. At the very bottom of the jar, faint and flickering like a dying ember, remained hope. It rose softly into the air and lingered, the only balm Zeus allowed mankind to keep. Perhaps it was a gesture of divine mercy, or perhaps mere irony. For with hope, mortals would never lose the will to endure, and so their suffering would last for eternity. Pandora would forever bear the weight of that moment. She spent her life among the agonizing mortals, and even bore a daughter by Epimetheus, a child who would one day play her own role in the fate of mankind. Meanwhile, high up on the cliffs of the Caucasus Mountains, Prometheus still suffered in silence. Ages passed. Humanity endured, wounded by the evils released from Pandora's jar, yet guided by hope and the sacred fire of Prometheus. And one day, a mortal came to the Titan's aid, a son of Zeus, born not in Olympus, but on earth. He was a hero, unmatched in both strength and spirit. His name was Heracles. The moment he saw the chained Prometheus, Heracles knew exactly what needed to be done. With his bow in hand and fire in his heart, the hero swiftly slew the eagle of Zeus. Then, with his mighty hands, he easily shattered the chains that bound the Titan, chains forced by the gods themselves. Prometheus was finally free, not by divine mercy, but by the courage of a mortal, the very being he had created and suffered for. And at that moment Prometheus smiled. For with hope and fire, humanity would not only endure its suffering, it would rise and even challenge the will of the gods themselves. If you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. It means the world to me to share with you the myths and stories of my homeland. If there's one thing to take from today's tale, let it be this. For any trial you face out there, seek the fire that drives you, and the hope that carries you. And if you enjoyed this video, please stay tuned for the next episode of Greek Mythology. Until next time, take care.